Hello friends and neighbors, this is Alan Peel again. I'd like to talk to my friends and neighbors out there about old-timey fishing with the old bamboo cane pole. Years ago when I was growing up, this is how I learned how to fish, from the bank. Then when I got older, I was able to fish out of a boat. But this is roughly a 12-foot bamboo cane, and I kind of improvised a little bit. I found me some eyes to run my fishing line through, and I just periodically taped it on here with string, and I come over with electrical tape, and I rigged me up a way to wind my line up or let it out. I also installed a old-fashioned reel here, and I put string and then put electrical tape around it. You would be surprised at the amount of fish that I caught with this pole over the years. I had thought about getting with somebody and having them to make an updated version with fiberglass, but somebody beat me to the draw. So nowadays, this is what they're selling now. You've got a fiberglass telescopic pole. It already has the eyes on it. This is roughly 12 foot in length. Most people use these to fish with crappie, brim. A lot of times I like to catch catfish and bass on them. Got this little reel set right here. It's put out by Buck's Mini Reel. You can obtain this at Academy. Sometimes you can find these at Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop. It really comes in handy. If your fish is going to run, try to swim away, you can let off slack. Most of these little reels have drags on them. It'll let your line drag out. What I'd like to show you, I'd like to rig this one up the way I like to fish. First of all, you have numerous ways of rigging this up, but I always like using the old-fashioned cork. And with this, in turn, I want to rig it up the way I fish when I'm, as layman terms, called dobbing. I like to dob for catfish. Now, when you're doing this, you have a variety of species of fish that you can catch. You can catch bass, brim, cat. I have caught skipjack. Most people call them warmouth brim, and I've caught those. The way I rig this up is get your line, and what I like doing is run it through the end of this porcupine quill, through here. Let me find the end of it. We'll try this again. Okay, go through the porcupine quill. Once you do that, go through your cork this way, run your porcupine quill through, bring it up about halfway, and then you want about 3 foot of line. Come out like this right here. I like fishing with a number 2 eagle claw hook, and you can buy these at Academy, Bass Pro Shop, any of your local fishing outlets that sells fishing supplies. Now my technique of rigging this up, I go through the hook. Once I go through the hook, I like tying just a little knot at the end of my line. Reason for doing this, when you pull your knot tight, you don't want your line to slip out. Alright, I go over this way, just like that, and I go 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. At the 4th loop, when you do that, just go through this line right here. When you go through there, grab your knot, pull it tight, and cinch it down to your hook. Now, once you do that, you come over here. I like using a number 7 split shot. And I come up about 6 inches on my line, and then I crimp it with a pair of pliers. Then, when you crimp it, you're able to fish with crickets. I like using Canadian nightcrawler earthworms. I'm going to open this up and show these to you. You can buy these at your local bait and tackle shop. Normally, when I go on a camping trip and I got a bunch of people going, I will either go online or I'll fill out an order form to Bass Pro Shop, and I can buy 500 of these for $80. And the worms, when they come to you, they're guaranteed to be healthy. Uh-oh, my bad. All right, to rig this up, I just grab just a regular worm, and I find the middle of the worm I try to look for his head, and I just kind of pinch him a little bit and then thread him onto the hook. Just like this. Okay. Now, I try to hide the point of the hook so when the fish bites it, they won't know that there's a hook there. All they're going to see is the worm. Okay, friends and neighbors, the next technique I'd like to show you, this is called a slip cork or slip float. You got them in various colors. I like using the ones that look like this. Looks like it's got a pencil or a pen to go through it. What I do first when I rig this up, you find your string with your plastic tubing. You run your fishing line through the tubing. Once you do that, come up approximately 3 feet. The only way to judge that is like this, spread your arms. Once you do that, come right here, grab a hold of your tubing, push the string off the tube, hold the line there, bring the tube off, just do away with that. Come right here next, you got 2 leads on your string. It's just like pulling a shoestring on your shoe. Pull that real tight. Pull that real tight. That way, it's going to lock onto your line and you're able to slip the knot up and down your line. The next step that I like to do is put my cork on. And you take your cork like this and you run your line through your cork. Okay, once you do that, you slide this over and lay that down. My next step is tying my hook on. So I like fishing with a number 6 or number 2 hook, short shank eagle claw. Run your line through the eye of your hook. Be careful not to stick the hook in your hand. That has happened several times in the past. Okay, like I said, I like running my line, tying a little knot, cinch your knot up like that. Come over and just grab your line and your hook like this with your knot. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, and on your 4th round, you got a loop in your line. You bring your knot through your loop. Bring it through your loop, grab your line, and pull your knot down to your hook. Okay, once you do that, come over and get your split shot. And like I said, I like coming up at least 6 to 7 inches on my line. Now when you crimp this on there, don't crimp it so tight it cuts your line. You just want to snug the split shot onto your line. Once you do that, then you can adjust your depth with this. When you throw this in the water, your bobber will come up to the line and as far as it'll go. It'll stop right there. So that's about 3 feet in length. That's where I like to fish, anywhere between 2.5 and 3 foot in length when I'm dobbing for brim or catfish. Okay, we're gonna bait this up, and then our next little clip, we're gonna be down at my lake, and I'm gonna show you my dobbing techniques of fishing. Okay, we're gonna thread the worm onto the hook. Like so. You want, like I said, you want to cover the barb of your hook. So when the fish bites the worm, they won't feel the end of the hook when it sticks in their mouth. Okay, friends and neighbors, as you can see, I've got this rig set up with my worm, my weight, and my float, my stopper on the pole. And when I'm fishing, whether it be in a john boat, bass boat, kayak, this is the setup I like to use when I'm technique, what I call dobbing. Now most time you're sitting down in your kayak or you're sitting in your boat. With this technique like this, you can grab your line and you can bring your quill, your stopper up to the end of the pole and you can control it. If you want to make a long cast or a short cast, you can do that. You can also reel off extra line. Now when I'm fishing, I let my cork and so forth sit there for a few minutes and then I'll move it. And if there's a fish in the vicinity there and they're hungry for the worm that I put on there, they'll eat the worm. And it's up to you to try to catch the fish or not. Okay, friends and neighbors, I've got my pole rigged up. I've got my line in my hand. If you choose to use this technique, you can bring your stopper up swing it back, release your line, and it'll go out about 20 or 30 feet. And then you can fish up against the bank, you can fish out in the water. I was asked a question one time, which is better? People from the bank fish from the bank out. People in a boat fish from out in. So I don't know which is the best technique on that. I have yet to decide which is the best. I've caught fish both ways over the years. Okay, friends and neighbors, I hope you, from what I've showed you, my little technique of ins and outs is just simple fishing. Like I said, you can take it and you can lob it like a fly rod, and you can go this distance or you can go further. Watch out for your trees when you're casting. Make sure you don't get into them. Your friends, make sure you don't hit them or hook them with your hook. There's a few dangers in fishing. Just make sure you're careful. Learn as you go. The only way I learn is by my mistakes. And like I said, you're not going to catch fish every time you go, but when fish do decide to bite, they'll hopefully you can bring some home to clean and eat. And if you like these videos, I hope that you will like us and subscribe, and we'll see you next time when we do it again. Okay, bye-bye.